Hi, welcome back to the Best Dudes. Hopefully one day sponsored by Amtrak. We single-handedly will restore passenger rail in America. And we're still playing Armored Core 3.
I thought you
And
said this was Assassin's Creed. What the fuck?
no, sorry.
Yeah, it's AC3.
Yeah,
Sorry.
come on. This is the one where you get the guy who's missing his front finger or whatever, or his middle finger, and so he can't pilot ships yet. So that's the fourth game.
Nope. It is Armored Core. It's the other AC. Not that AC, the one with the planes. This is the other one with the cars. This one is
Wait, which one?
Very
which one's
popular acronym.
Which one is the car again?
Assetto Corsa.
Gesundheit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Assetto Corsa.
It's Assetto Corsa, Ace Combat, Assassin's Creed, and Abe's. No wait, Abe's Odyssey doesn't count. That's AO.
Yeah.
There is an age. There's got to be a game that starts with an A.
Age of Catan.
You're mixing up like two
Those
different.
the Settlers of Catan.
Yeah. Empires of Catan. Yeah.
Empires of Catan. That's
Yeah,
my
it's not
favorite.
bad.
That's my favorite.
Fuck a duck. Okay.
It could be Age of Conan.
Conan.
That's
Is
a
there a
game
game
that I
called
think
Age of
came back
Conan?
recently. Yeah, I think it's an. Wait, this is an MMO. It's free to play, and it's like Conan the Barbarian. Conan.
Oh yeah, Age of Conan. No. Yeah, Age of Conan. But then there's also Conan Exiles. Age of
Yeah,
Conan
there's-
is an MMO though. I don't know if it still runs.
There is also Age of Conquest, which has gone up to 4, which implies that they have a 3.
That does make sense. Dang, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, we are almost at the bottom of solving this mystery of what is the AC3.
There is at least 3.
Yep. Apparently, people are pissing themselves about the number 6.
Well, they're making
There's
an
not
Armored
enough
Core
6.
6. Oh.
Hot
Well-
6.
There is more than one. There is more than one AC6 though.
Yeah. If I had a nickel for every time Bandai Namco published a game with the abbreviation AC6 and a subtitle that starts with Fires of, I'd have 2, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. For those
Just a
unaware,
little.
the other one
Was
is
it-
Ace Combat 6. Fires
Oh,
of Liberation.
Ooh. Was that the one with the QTEs?
No, that was Ace Combat Assault Horizon. That was the one written by a military fiction writer. Apparently, the story goes is that I guess someone at Scamco Bandai was feeling
Nice.
particularly creatively bankrupt that day. Or maybe it was Project Aces themselves. I don't know. I hope I equipped a head that lets me lock onto these bugs. Fucking. I had to have.
Ace Combat Assault Horizon fiction writer.
Yeah. Okay, I did. I was just making sure I did the thing I needed to target the bugs because they're organic. But yeah, so Assault Horizon it's Ace Combat, but instead of being in like the constructed world, they created Strange Reel, the really cool one. It's IRL Earth, but not what they did with Joint Assault, which was still, tell a somewhat interesting story. Jesus, these fuckers don't like to die. Tell a somewhat interesting story and have all the Ace Combat weirdness, the giant flying fortresses, super fighters, and weird anime plot and all that.
They'll make it like a science fiction-y thing despite being mostly
Like IRL. No, Assault
Yeah.
Horizon was basically Call of Duty level writing.
huh. Do you play as the good guys, the Americans, who are always the good guys? Just like in real life?
Of course. Just like in real life, America having done absolutely
Literally nothing wrong.
Yeah, they're the
You
best.
know, they had a couple of friendly disagreements with some natives. You know, they didn't like the red guy in the Vietnam, and you know, then you know that's just that you know they're flawed as a country, but you know it was for a noble cause, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've saved so many lives by killing a
Yep.
lot of people. I mean, not
Yeah,
killing,
but they manifested the fuck
rehabilitating.
out of that destiny.
Yeah.
They
But yeah,
rehabilitated a whole bunch of countries.
Okay, so right, Ace Combat Assault Horizon.
Yeah,
so it's
so
basically
basically the short
just Call of
version
Duty
is-
but plain.
To my understanding, the guy they hired to write the story was like, "Oh my god, I would love to be able to write in this constructed universe you made, Strange Reel. That just seems so cool. That gives me a lot of creative freedom, like what you guys have had." And they said no. And he was like, "What? And Scamco Bandai was like, "No, do real boring Earth." And he was like, "Okay." And I mean, God bless him, he tried, but Assault Horizon was still pure anus.
Ace Combat is one of those games where like it feels like it should be very American, like Active Blizzard. It's like nope, it's Japanese.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
very
this-
true.
It's
like
funny.
like Metal Gear, same sort of deal. Like when you think of, you know, anime games or like Japanese developed games, you think of fucking isekai, high fantasy, you know, what have you, or
Well, that's
or
because the modern
thi-
anime
or this, or
industry is
mechas.
creatively bankrupt.
Okay, what is the most isekai high fantasy Western RPG?
I could say Skyrim to be a contrarian asshole, but you're not really being isekai.
That is not isekai.
Yeah, exactly.
If you said Morrowind, that is an isekai.
On pure technicality.
Because you were taken from another world and brought into a strange and unfamiliar land.
I am oh, there it is, Brutal Legend. Easy.
Brutal Legend?
Brutal
Yeah, the
Legend.
game the game with Jack Black. Or is that
Oh
not an
yeah,
isekai?
fucking hell, that
It
game.
is an isekai. It's straight up a fucking isekai. It's not like, you know, oh,
Instead of
high
that instead of that
fantasy.
weeb shit, it's you know fucking
It's fucking
heavy metal. Yeah.
every genre of metal, and it's great.
I have
Um,
I have not gotten around to playing it. I only have 25 minutes on Steam, and
I
it's like
played it that was one of the first games I played when I first built my PC. It's Wunderbar, and I broke all the canisters. Now I can hurt the bugs. God, these fuckers are tough even when they're weakened by the canisters you have to break to make them vulnerable.
oh that would be good shit.
Little bugs. And that's why I've spent most of this mission getting shot and swinging at glass canisters. But yeah, Brutal Legend. Fun game. I should play it again sometime, and it has Jack Black basically playing himself. But that's okay, because Jack Black is a wonderful actor and is very charismatic, and by all accounts is a pretty cool dude.
I mean, Jack Black is like the Rock or Vin Diesel, where you know they always just play themselves, except no one has ever had a problem with that
Yeah.
oh yeah.
for Jables.
Well, I feel like when Jack Black plays characters, I kind of just... He's got such a fun energy, and he's always fine with failure, but he's always just... He's making anything he's doing fun.
Yeah,
I feel like you can't really say that for The Rock. He just wants to win. Which is fine, but it's like... Winning is boring.
yeah, like you know, I don't dislike seeing the Rock or whatever. Like even you know, Chris Pratt was okay in the Mario movie overall, even if it was just Chris Pratt, stuff like that. But
I'm still
But,
coping about Charles Martinet effectively being screwed over. Like, oh, but he got a voice cameo. And it's like, dude, he's been voicing Mario for 30 years. And
I mean,
every
I
time
forget
he-
if I-
Mario,
if I mentioned this
Wario,
hot take,
and Luigi.
but I mean, I don't know if I voiced this hot take, but Martinet doing a Mario voice would not have, like, not, you know, the regular Mario voice just getting translated into the movies would have made that movie near unwatchable.
All right, but Charles
Okay, but
Martinet is a
remember,
skilled
this is
voice
the same
actor.
guy who voiced Parthenax.
Yeah, I was gonna say he voices
You can
Parthenax.
do whatever
The man
fucking
has
role you
range.
want.
I know, but wouldn't it start feeling weird? It's like, oh, well, Mario's voiced by the same guy. He just it's not doing the Mario. You know, He doesn't sound. He just sounds much different from Mario. He's doing a completely different voice. Ooh, L.
Yeah. I told you, we got the first L, but it wouldn't be the last L. Who dies, by the way. But this one doesn't result in me getting fired. This one just results in me going into debt. Fuck.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully, you're not Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, God, no. Everyone was like, true queer icon. And then she was an asshole who abuses her staff. And we were
Yeah,
like, oh,
it's-
never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, like, honestly, not much good going there.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, the best LGBT representation since Caitlyn Jenner.
Ugh. Who killed people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's reminding me.
Ugh.
So much fun.
All right, I
Gotta
need
love
an easy
those.
way to clear this debt. So
Gotta
here
love
it
those
is.
kind of people.
Fucking video games. They exist, unfortunately.
Yeah, they all suck. You know, like
Yeah.
can we just like
Um,
I should have been a
Duck eggs.
fucking doctor, dude.
But yeah, I'm just always coping about how career voice actors always end up getting dicked over in favor of celebrities and all that, and it's like,
Yeah, that is true. That or Nolan North gets to voice 40 characters.
well, Nolan North is a career voice actor who knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
He was,
Which
the
is why
20
he's voiced
he-
over
he
40
was
characters within one video game.
the 2010s of video games.
Also, it's like there you go with like voice actors like being replaced by A-list. Like honestly, Nolan North probably could have been a better Nathan Drake as an actor than Tom Holland.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Nolan North also looks more like the character than Tom Holland.
Yeah, and
Tom
Tom
Holland
Holland
just
is,
looks
is-
like
I'm
a
sure he's
guy.
a fine guy. It's just
Like, no offense against Tom Holland. He's a great actor.
I swear,
Like-
I thought I saw a post somewhere like where Mark Wahlberg was supposed to he
oh god.
signed on or
No!
like,
That would have been so much worse.
God, did you know that
You don't
Mark
need Marky
Wahlberg
Mark.
just he hates crimes. He hated them so much he made sure everyone knew about it in the 80s. Google Mark Wahlberg hate crimes 1980s for more information.
fucking nice.
Yeah, he's very good at hate crimes.
Oh, he hates crimes so much.
Yeah.
I also hate crimes.
I mean, yeah. This fucking guy. Challenge opponent.
But are you as successful as Mark Wahlberg in hating crimes?
I don't think I'll ever be as successful as Mark Wahlberg in hate criming.
Or in general.
I
in
mean,
general,
well, he
sadly.
has a ton of money, but he was also in the last two Michael Bay Transformers movies, and one of them had a whole fucking scene to justify why it was okay for one guy to bang a minor, instead of just being like, oh, this is just her high school boyfriend.
Not to mention that they misquote the actual fucking article.
do!
They
You're still going to
misquote
jail,
it. It's
motherfucker!
misattributed, and they don't even read it properly.
Yeah, there's
You two have lost me. What?
Okay,
Uh,
the fourth Transformer movie has a
Age of
particular
Extinction.
moment in it with a character that is I think he's like a 23-year-old dating a 17-year-old.
or like he's
Um,
like 20, he's like 20, 21, she's like, you know, fucking
She's 17,
Yeah,
and they
she's
started
17,
dating.
and it's like they justify as like, oh yeah, you know, they started dating in high school when she was a sophomore and he was a senior, which red flag already, kid. That's yikes. But what do I know? I'm fucking 20 something. I was a dumb teenager once, but even then they told you, hey, seniors shouldn't be dating freshmen. Ooh. But moving on.
High school's a weird fucking place.
Yeah, well, moving on to the part where this is relevant to this movie. Basically, this guy shows up out of nowhere with a rally car to save Mark Wahlberg and friends from getting killed by the government. And Mark Wahlberg is like, "Who's this guy?" And she's like, "It's my boyfriend." And he's like, "But oh, you can't date until you're 18." Because he's one
Wait,
of
doesn't he hold up a fucking copy of that particular bill he was mentioning?
like a card in his wallet that he had that like the implication
Like-
is right in your face that like he had that shit ready to go if someone asked him about it.
Okay, so like also just to reiterate, we're still on the topic of Transformers, right?
Yes.
We're talking about Transformers here, but in particular, we're talking about a very specific quote from a Transformers movie that was terrible, by the way.
Which quote? There are a lot of quotes in those movies that are fucking awful. They're wonderful, but they're fucking awful.
But this one in particular was just like, why?
Ugh.
Like, it was very fucky, and it's like, why did the writers include this?
Why did the
Like,
writers
there's
who had
literally
complete
no
creative
reason
control
for it to be
include this?
included.
But yeah, so this guy shows up, and Mark Wahlberg, being the, rural American dad who's overprotective of his daughter and barely recognizes her own autonomy that he is like, "Oh, you can't date till you're 18." But instead of, doing the reasonable thing in the situation of being the writer writing this dynamic and just being like, "Oh, well, this is just your high school boyfriend. He's also 17 or whatever."
No, he's 21.
No, they decided, no, they're doing the, comparatively big fat age gap of 17 and
Oh, they quote
very
the
early
Goldilocks
20s.
law.
No, it's called the Romeo and Juliet law of all
Yeah.
things, which, God, why the fuck would you call it that? Ugh.
Totally not a fuck.
Out of like the worst fucking love story in history.
Yeah, the one
Well,
where they
it
die
is-
at the
Well,
end.
not in that, not in the sense of ideally like, oh yeah, let's normalize love at first sight. Yeah, just don't ask about he has 0 skeletons in his closet. He's perfect because he's very handsome.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Well, like the character that they have in it, he's not even that attractive. He's just some dude.
and that's fine. I'm sure he's a cool guy in real life. It's just that, he was in that movie and having to say all that probably destroyed his acting career.
Well, no, I mean the character.
Oh, the character is whatever. I don't even remember the guy's name.
Oh,
Romeo.
I'm gonna call
God,
him.
none of the characters in that entire in that entire series were like memorable in any way.
The only ones that was Shia LaBeouf because it's Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, we're still talking. Oh, I'm like my mind's still locked on like Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah,
like-
also in
like the
between,
movies.
surrounding this whole thing of this guy whipping out a fucking card in his wallet saying, "Yes, because we were dating before I became an adult, it's okay for me to have sex with a minor, actually, even though it's not." There's like, the government running after them, and also Optimus Prime is involved. Also, they lockdown
he is also trying to have sex with a teen.
No,
fortunately.
thankfully.
He's just
Okay.
really angry about everything in like the weirdest way possible because I guess Michael Bay needed more edge. Also, Lockdown from Transformers Animated is there, but he sucks now. Because he's like, the Autobots and the Decepticons are running around like children, and I have to clean them up because I am higher than this, and I serve a higher power because I'm a bounty hunter and all that. And it's like, dude, miss me with that shit. Lockdown only serves money, and he was a fucking muscle car. And he had a cool skull face because he was a muscle car and his theme was guitar riffs. And Transformers Animated deserved a 4th season. Fuck you, Hasbro. I'm never gonna stop
We're still
coping.
talking about Armored Core, aren't we?
We
I mean,
are still talking
Transformers
about
are
Armored
still-
Core. It's related because there's robots and capitalism.
Yeah, that's how we got here.
That's how we got here. And I'm trying to work off my debt with sport.
Well, Bloodsport in particular.
Yeah, I mean, this one isn't too bloody because these guys survived their fights. Oh, I'm gonna scroll up to the... So, where is he? Is he here? Where is he? Is he in this one? Fuck, I can't see him. But there is a Raven in this arena, who is basically the skill check, the one who's like, do you know how to really play Armored Core? Yes or no? And I think it's the AC specifically that's named Menorah, which is funny because it sounds like menorah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like,
Us Jews stay winning. But I can't find him here. And where the fuck are you? Is it Bad Brain? Is that the AC? Well, the pilot. Okay, I'll worry about that when I get to him. For now, it's time to read the mail. Ooh, Crest product sponsor. Give me the money. Ooh, FCS.
My dumb ass still thinking like, oh wait, is this like one of those sponsored ad placements for toothpaste?
No. That
Like the
joke
Death
has
War
already been
Machine
made.
sponsored by, 9 out of 10 dentists.
9 out of 10 dentists agree. War crimes.
Exactly. Anyways, I got a new FCS. It's wide and shallow. That one's good if I've got like a machine gun. I don't feel like using a machine gun. I like my rifle. Missions. Let's do this one. Ship cargo. What's the deal with this? Oh, motherfucker. Don't tell me that this is...
I still forget about like how, besides the gameplay part, everything still just feels like Ace Combat.
I mean, yeah.
With like some person giving you a map and like running down your mission briefing before you enter the mission with some very droll voice.
Yeah. The mission briefings get more interesting as the game goes along. I think the best briefings are in Armored Core 4. No, 4 Answer. I'd say 4 and 4 Answer, but I think it really is mostly just 4 Answer, where they've got like full-on cutscenes and shit, and you get to see like the different like ways they're set up and all the branding for these mega corporations hiring you and shit. And they all have like a little intro screen, and it's like, yep, that looks like a corporate intro screen and all that. But also the factions that aren't corporations, like the last democracy on Earth, and insurgent group that's like, hey, maybe corporate rule is bad, but in a true Hidetaka Miyazaki fashion, their ending is contextualized as coming at great cost. But like, it's all good. And then there's the other ending that's a Hidetaka Miyazaki classic of, oh, you can also just end the fucking world. But instead of doing it in the apocalypse way, it's the you just kill 100 million people kind of way. Because
and then he made Elden Ring.
Yeah, and then he made all the Dark Souls games minus Dark Souls 2 and Elden Ring, and in those games it's also like, oh, there's the ending that continues the status quo, the ending that enacts great change, but, at potentially
cost.
At either like great cost, but like it's a very uncertain future ahead, but it's certainly something else, and you can just end the fucking world.
All right.
Just world-ending moments.
Yeah.
Hashtag girl boss.
As for Armored Core the 6th, Miyazaki... Also, I have a head with a map now that actually memorizes it. This will be very helpful. As for 6, I believe that it started with Miyazaki in the director's office, but then he went on to focus his directing efforts on Elden Ring, since I think Armored Core 6 and Elden Ring began development probably around the same time, because From Software has the staff capacity to have 2 teams. And I forget his name, and Tommy put it on screen after doing the research. I believe that the gentleman who has taken over directing Armored Core 6 is the same gentleman who directed Sekiro.
So that means it's going to be hard.
It's going to be FromSoft hard, which is, oh boy, these enemies will smack you around all right, but you are also given a great deal of tools to do the things. So, like, don't worry about it.
You could put a thing in a thingy and it'll make a thing happen.
Yeah, and like failure is part of the game, but like don't worry about it. It's okay. You just gotta get up. You don't lose in Dark Souls when you die. You lose when you stop playing. But also,
I do like that. Death in video games has been more of that than just punishment. Like I'm sure as shit glad that game overs and lives don't exist anymore.
oh yeah. Well,
Oh, same.
that's a carryover from when everyone was
You needed
transitioning from
coins.
developing from arcades. I love these invisible floors off all these platforms. It's so jank, but like delightful.
Oh, that's what's actually been happening. I thought you had like some ability or something.
Oh no, it's just I guess someone in From Software in like 2002 or I don't remember the exact
morning.
one. No, I think this game was released in 2000. No. Yes, 2002. Was like, oh, fuck it. It's good enough. I can't be bothered. Because they probably had like a ton of other shit to work on, and I need to actually finish the mission and break or find the thing I'm looking for before this boat floods and I die. I'm trying to break all those other canisters because they're like, we'll pay you extra for breaking shit. And I'm like, I love being paid extra for breaking shit.
You love being a cog in the machine
Yeah.
while using a machine.
Yeah.
With cogs.
Oh,
And
yes.
he-
Okay, I gotta find the capsule. Find the capsule, she says. I go through here and make a right.
Okay, so I didn't check what kind of ship is this that apparently can just casually house like a labyrinth span of metal that is big enough to hold a mech.
That is something that comes up among discussions about Armored Core all the time, and it's best to not think about it. But the short
Okay.
version is it's an icebreaker, and icebreaker ships are fucking massive. As for why
Huh.
there's ice and an icebreaker underground,
We'll answer
don't always
that.
have
We'll
to
get
make
back to you
sense.
on that.
they're very. I think the games have always been very vague as to just how underground is, and I think in some of them they're flat out like, look, there's still the occasional excursion above ground for like resourcing or military shit, but no one lives above ground until the second game of XYZ timeline, and they only do that for Armored Core 1's timeline, which is 5 games from Armored Core 1 to Armored Core 2 Another Age, and Armored Core 3's timeline, which is also 5 games from Armored Core 3 to Armored Core Last Raven. Armored Core 4 drops the whole living underground thing, but doesn't, skip out on the apocalypse thing.
But I do feel like keeping your game underground, like even though you got shit like this where it's like, this could be fucking anywhere, I wouldn't tell. Like really limits the game design, especially if you want space.
Well, I think the whole underground giant robots and corridors thing, part of that might have been like a limitation put on by the PS1.
Oh, like so they don't have to render large open, skies, and why it's like why my mech with giant thrusters can only go 200 feet off the ground at most.
Yeah. Well, the original Armored Core rendered outdoor scenes and all that just fine. And they did like that kind of impressive, like, yes, look what the PS1 can do. Little rendering goodies of like, semi-transparency, translucence, animated textures and all that. But I think for some like just straight up physical space limitations, it's like, okay, well, we're going to do giant robots and corridors. And I think they carried on with that for most of the games because it became part of the vibe, part of the aesthetic, part of the Armored Core identity.
Right.
4 is when they really started moving away from that because it's the 7th console generation, it's the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. We're multi-platform now, by the way. We can have larger areas. We can have these big-ass open arenas, and they do. And the gameplay also changes to compensate for... Well, not compensate, but to blend with that. The mechs can, do like little dashes, quick boosts and shit. There's a greater sense of verticality. Your energy meter is a lot more forgiving. But there's still like some of those indoor sections, but they're like a big ass power plant or a hangar complex or some shit. Armored Core 5 just made the mechs a whole goddamn lot smaller, which I actually kind of like. I like kind of mini mecha that can like dash between like buildings and shit and take cover behind like, you know, apartments instead of skyscrapers and shit.
Right.
Not that the mechs in Armored Core were ever really that big.
I mean, I guess there is like a point of scale where like if you wanted to feel like a giant robot, like there's a point where, oh yeah, no, you know, piloting a mech that's like 500 feet tall would actually be kind of boring because it's just naturally very slow based off of how tall it is.
Yeah,
it's
that
gonna,
thing's not moving
you
very
know,
fast.
gravity is gonna make it so it takes you 3 seconds, you know, like 3 to 5 seconds just to fall from your head to your foot.
Yeah, and like unless you want to do Super Robot, which is fun in its own regard, but that's just not the kind of game that Armored Core wants to be, well, you're not going to go for that. Armored Core wants to be real robot, as realistic as giant fighting robots can be.
I was always thinking with like Pacific Rim, where like the first game tried to make it super realistic, and the second one was like, oh nah, they're just fucking Gundam mechas. You know, they shoot missiles everywhere. They can like do dodges and shit like that.
Yeah. I
Do
mean,
a barrel roll.
as according to a friend of mine, that Pacific Rim Uprising was a better Power Rangers movie than the Power Rangers movie. But the first Pacific Rim was a fucking stone cold classic. Anyways, I'm saving
Nickname withholding.
with fucking what words.
Right, bye.
Yeah, this is the part where I say, congratulations, we went a whole episode without me coping about trains. We've also gone an insulting number of episodes without mentioning Sonic the Hedgehog. There we go, hit the quota. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, American public. Pay your taxes so the IRS doesn't go after you. Good night.